What's going on, guys? So this week's install is in conjunction with my last video of the Smart Tap, Diode MX Smart Tap flasher relay. This week's install is going to be the JDM fog lamps. All right, so as you can already see, I'm pretty knee-deep into this install already. Obviously, you guys have seen me take off my front bumper plenty of times in the past, so I don't need to do that. But I do have the wiring harness laid out on the ground in the orientation it's going to be in on the car. So the driver's side of the car does have the negative and the add a fuse, so you'll know which side of the wire harness needs to be on the driver's side. Other than that, we're just going to run this probably through the same area right here where the C light wiring harness is. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. I'm going to get it all wired up that way, and then we'll move on to the front bumper, and we'll go ahead and take out the stock turn signals and get the bezels on there and get them all wired up, and hopefully this goes easy. I mean, I've heard of some people having a little bit of trouble with this, but I don't think we will. Anyway, I'm going to start getting on the wiring harness and get that all wired in, because that's probably going to be the most time-consuming thing, and I'll show you guys how I route it. Okay, so like I said, I routed it from this side through there. I did zip tie it on both sides and in the middle to the other red wire that goes through to the passenger side. Now, it does have a toggle switch. That is that wire right there, the long one. It ran up, and I was going to post it like on the top of this, but I just didn't like the look of it. So what I did is I just zip tie the wire, that way it doesn't move, and kind of hit it. So each side has one of these switches. I'm gonna hide the other one just like I did on this side. So passenger side is all done. Now onto the driver's side, where I do have to wire in the add a fuse and the ground. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did on this side. I'm gonna run it up underneath the headlight here and into the engine bay and up to the battery and the fuse block. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then I'll show you guys exactly where the add a fuse goes and how, everything. I'm gonna route all this stuff. Okay, so the only thing I have to still do is route the switch for the sequentials up through the thing, but I did route right. Anybody else in the comment section, let me know, does yours not stay on here? Your windshield washer fluid reservoir cap, does it just not? Mine just pops off no matter what the hell I do. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So I went ahead and routed it up through there underneath the headlight, around the battery, and then we got the fuse block here. So this add a fuse is going to go into the top slot on the left hand side. So I'll show you guys that once it's installed, and then you just route it around. I'm going to cleanly do this all with zip ties and everything like that, and don't mind my battery, it is super corrosive. I just noticed that. I have to clean that off. But you're going to put the ground onto that nut right there, so I'm going to clean that off too. That way there's a good connection for the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going. Once I get this routed, I'll show you guys how I did it. And you guys can do it any way you want, but I was going off of the Subispeed Bros video of the install on this, and how they did it was really clean. So I'll show you guys what happened there. Clean this off, get that posted up on there, and then we'll move on to the next step. So I'm not too sure where I'm going to hide the toggle switch on this side. I might just do it off of maybe this wire right here for the hood latch release. I'm not too sure yet, so I'm just going to figure that out, and I'll show you guys what I came up with. Okay, so as you can see, you can kind of barely notice that it's even there. I zip tied the toggle switch on this side and kind of just hit it underneath there. And then got the add a fuse into its location right there. Let me just show you guys here. Take this out. And once again, it goes into the top one on the left-hand side. Just like that. Wires ran right through there, down and around. And I'll clean that up a little bit, but I really don't have to do much because it looks really good. So now that the wiring section is complete on the car, we're going to move over to the front bumper. So we're going to take off the fog lamp bezel and the stock turn signal, and we'll be ready to go to put this bumper back on the car. I'm going to move it to the front of the car, obviously, and do a little testing before I, put everything back together. But all we'll do on the back side here, take off those two nuts right there. I believe they're 10 millimeters, and we'll take off the fog lamp bezel from the back, which is these little clips right here. Slide that one off, put the new one on, and wire it up, and we should be good to go. This actually has been pretty easy to install. I thought it was going to be a whole lot harder. And like I said, I did do the Diode Dynamics flasher relay, so we won't have the hyperblink issue. So that's why I did that last time, and now we're doing it these things this time. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get the fog lamp bezels off the car and go from there. All right, so we got the stock ones out, and now we will go ahead and put in the new bezels and then wire everything up. I mean, everything is pretty much buttoned up at this point. A couple questions I have about the wiring. I'm gonna have to look into that when I get the bumper over here, start connecting everything. I think there's an additional plug for the C-lamps, but I don't have them plugged into anything. I have them wired directly into where they used to be wired to. So I'm gonna have to look into that, and if I have an extra plug, I might as well just, tape it off and go from there. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and plug these up, get the bezels on, get it over here, and then we'll start on the wiring and try to get these things working. So one note when installing the bezels, you'll want to run the wiring not through the hole where the original turn signal was, but through this square right here. I think it's just to have enough slack to plug into the wiring harness. But I just saw a bunch of people doing that, so just kind of a note, when running the wiring harness, run it through the square and not through the circle. Okay, I've got them in the bumper. Now note, for everybody out there, these things, I got them to fit pretty well, but the corner on this side just doesn't want to pop in as well as it should. Hopefully I don't have any issues with them falling off. Fingers crossed, I guess. But I got them in the bumper as best I could. This side, everything else clipped just fine. It's just those weren't fitting well on that side. So I don't know if it's a product issue or just me not doing it correctly, but we'll see. Anywho, so looking back here, you've got the wiring going to the bezel, and then I've got the fog lamp turned on down there, and then I've got this hooked up here to the OEM turn signal. And this was the other, this is the other connector I was kind of just worried about. I'm not too sure what it does or where it goes. Some people plug it into a C-lamp switch or a C-lamp wire harness. I don't know exactly. I don't have one. Mine is hardwired in. So I think I'm just gonna take that off and see what happens. I don't think I necessarily need it, but I'm gonna go ahead and just do that. I'm gonna clean everything up with some zip ties, make sure all the wiring is nice and neat. But yeah, we are good to go to test it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go grab my keys and see what this thing does. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. That looks awesome. So I'm gonna do real quick, I'm gonna toggle the switch and see what happens. Let's see. So just turn it to, yep, turned it to solid. Woo! I don't know if I want it to be sequential or to be solid. Man, that's a tough decision. But this looks awesome. And like I said, I hope they don't fall out of the bumper. That would suck. But anyway, this is awesome. So I want to see what it looks like with just the sea light on. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the turn signal and see what the sea light on. All right, let's take a look at the sea. Ooh, ooh, that looks good, man. You know what? I don't know. This might be, besides the sea lamp and the headlight, this might be one of my most favorite installs. I don't know. This thing looks dope. Man, I'm so happy with this. I really am. That is so cool. Anyway, I'm gonna stop babbling on here. I'm gonna get everything all tidied up and get the bumper back on. Obviously, you guys, don't really want to see that, but I'll put in some clips after this of everything buttoned up. And yeah, I am super excited about this.